And hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Guys Talking Sports. I'm Pat McDonald with Choice 102. He's Tim Burney with the Sports Report. We're back after a week off. Tim, let's talk about last week's NTL just basically NTL games last week for us anyway. Let's talk about the Athens Wildcats. We'll talk about them more later as we get it ready for them to take on the Troy Trojans. But you were over at Alumni Stadium right last week, a 56-22 win over Canton, which the final score makes the game look closer than it really was.
Yeah, I mean, they were dominant, explosive offensively. Defense played pretty well. Obviously only gave up, I think, one touchdown, the first team. But Connor Davidson's just so explosive, and he's got some weapons this year. They ran the football pretty well. Brendan Cook ran the ball well. Carson Sipley had a couple nice runs. They've been playing well up front, and that's always been the key for them. And this year they're putting it together. This week's going to be a big one. We'll see how good that line is.
Yeah, I know. Talking to some Athens coaches, they've been kind of searching for that running back. Eli Chapman out for the year, hurt. He was kind of a running back last year for him, but obviously Connor Davidson's a big runner. But Brennan Cook might be that guy that they can count on, especially for short yardage stuff up the middle.
You know, when he went to Athens, I was wondering, he was a wrestler as a youth, and he wasn't very big. So I was wondering, what weight could he max out at in the lower weights? And now he's walking around at 220 pounds.
Yeah.
He's a big, fast, bruising running back. Tough as nails, too. I love to watch him play on both sides of the football. Saw a lot, and he's a lot bigger than he was last year.
Yeah.
So it's... Yeah, I think you're right, and I think Sipley runs hard too.
Yeah, he's a good.
So he's a
change
little
of pace back.
A little bit, and so I think they've got a couple nice weapons there.
Obviously, the key for them, I think, is still going to be if their line can give Connor Davidson time, especially this week against Troy, because I think Waverly showed you can kind of throw on Troy a little bit, maybe as long as you have time. And Athens has the weapons on the outside with James Friend, Ryan Cook, Gage Marmer. Cade Rowe, I'm sure I'm missing Sean Peters, a bunch of different weapons out there.
Yeah, I think so. Friend's 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", pretty fast. Marmer's dangerous deep. So, yeah, I think, the worst part about it for Troy is if you pin your ears back and go after Davidson, you better get him because he can hurt you if you don't.
Absolutely. We're going to talk to Athens Athletic Director Cody White here in just a little bit. We'll talk more about Troy and Athens football coming up this Friday night. Troy was a 42-13 winner over South Williamsport last week. Other games in the NTL last week, North Penn Mansfield, a 24-17 winner over Towanda. I saw North Penn Mansfield. You saw a little bit of them, I think, when they played Sayre. And obviously, Towanda, the good news for them, they got on the board. They were shut out the first 2 weeks, so scoring 17 points. And that game went down, I think, the final 6 seconds. North Penn Mansfield scored the winning touchdown.
Yeah, that's a tough loss for Towanda, especially after the way they played the first 2 weeks. North Penn Mansfield, nice win for them. I don't think a lot of people expected much out of them this year. They got a couple wins early. I think they're 3-0?
I think so. They got some weapons. I mean, yeah. I watch them. The Krager kid.
Krager, he's tough.
Yeah.
He's a good ball player. I didn't know what they had coming back at quarterback this year. So, yeah, that's a nice win for them. I think Towanda's going to improve each week. We'll see. By the time the bronze helmet comes around, I think they'll be in pretty good shape.
Today's episode of Two Guys Talking Sports is brought to you by UHS Sports Medicine. Before we talk to Cody White, Athens Athletic Director, we'll throw it to UHS Sports Medicine.
UHS Sports Medicine is your team's partner, keeping you healthy both on and off the field. Learn more at nyuhs.org.
And joining us now is Athens Athletic Director Cody White. Took over in the spring last year. Now your first full year coming up. Cody, just tell us what's it been like so far to go back to your alma mater and become the athletic director.
Pat, it's really pretty neat. Starting the spring, kind of chaperoned, watched Craig Stage take over there for a little bit, and he mentored me a little bit through the spring. And I walk into the spring, and our softball team wins a district title, wins the NTL title, goes to states. Our baseball team wins the NTL. Track and field girls won the NTL. So I just happened to walk in. It was perfect timing, I guess, But the spring was fun. First couple weeks were interesting. And then the rain came. And then the rainouts. And then I learned real quick how to juggle baseball, junior high baseball, softball, track and field, but good learning experience.
Yeah, spring's obviously the toughest season when it comes to that, I would imagine, as far as rainouts and
with the weather.
It's got to be good. On one hand, good. On the other hand, maybe not. Being from the community as the AD, and to a man, every AD I know at every school has said the worst part about the job is dealing with parents. Little Johnny's not getting enough playing time, blah, blah, blah. Is it an advantage for you knowing everybody in the community?
I think it has its advantages and also, like you said, Tim, the disadvantages. I know a lot of people. I grew up with a lot of people now have kids in school, so they're coming along, which I got good relationships with a lot of these people. But at the end of the day, too, I got to look what's best for the students and the school and, follow those procedures as a professional level. But parents can be tricky nowadays. I think everyone knows that. Everyone wants their kid to play, and I don't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it boils down simply to the fact that when I was in school, I had more fear of my parents than I did of any administrator in the school, and I don't think that's the case anymore. But anyway, let's not go too far off track here. Other question that kind of goes along with that: the schools around here that have the best sports programs, to me, are the ones who give their coaches the most support against those parents and the community. What's your philosophy as far as backing your coaches?
I think that holds true. And I always said if I was going to, take this position, do get this position, that the first thing I told the coach is that I would 100% back them. We might disagree at times, me and the coach, but at the end of the day, I do have their 100% support with parents, other coaches, anything that comes up, I will back those coaches up.
I think you were saying earlier about fearing your parents more. I think when we were in school more than 20 years ago now.
I got you by 20.
Like if I went home to my dad and complained about my coach, my dad would tell me to shut up and and go do the work and work harder, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how it was kind of when we were growing up. You listen to the coach first, whether he's right, wrong, or different, or she's right, wrong, or different. You listen and you don't talk back, and you'll be coachable. Because like you said, when you get home, if house practice and you say, "Coach yelled at me," well, you might have deserved it.
And the problem these days too is every other parent is a travel coach, and they think they know more than the coach on the sidelines.
Yeah, that can be tricky at times. A lot of kids are playing, which is great, playing travel ball. There's soccer, baseball, softball, you name it. There's a travel sport for it, and that gets a little tricky because they could be playing during the travel league. Then they get to the school ball, and it might not work out the same because different coaches have different philosophies, different ideas where you could play. So it does get a little tricky, I think, for coaches nowadays. So,
yeah, and I mean, the worst part, too, is I have a lot of friends that are coaches. Mm-hmm. And it's even happened at Athens, and I won't use any names, but in the last few years, coaches have lost players playing a different sport, playing a travel sport during their season. So it's you're right, it is tricky.
It is very tricky for a coach now, and I think that helps me out a little bit. I had a little bit of background coaching at basketball at Athens for 4 or 5 years of varsity, then JV the last 5 years. I think that helps me a little bit because I've gotten to know parents a little bit, relationships. And I think that helps me also when I talk to the coaches about a situation that comes up. I think I got the coach's standpoint and, as an administrator now.
Switching topics, let's talk about the community a little bit. We were all at Alumni Stadium last week for the Gold Out game. Got to be pretty cool for your first time as the AD, seeing that and all that yellow, and just a great win on the field for Athens, 56-22 over Canton, but just a awesome night for the community, and kids can't fight cancer alone.
Yeah, I mean, I was a fan at the game last year watching it. I thought it was really neat how they do it. Tracy Welly does a great job organizing it. And then I got with our principal, Mr. Gabriel. He kind of gave me the rundown. We had the kindergarten run before that. And then, the main thing is the kids can't fight cancer alone, which is a great event. It was a great crowd, I thought, for a Friday night football game, and the Wildcats did come out on top.
I'll tell you what, though, those yellow socks make it really tough to find the flag on the field.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
Confused me a few times calling it on the radio there. I thought there was a flag when there wasn't.
I know a couple of the officials were a little worried if they were going to wear yellow jerseys or, I just said yellow socks. A couple were a little worried about it.
Let's talk about this week. Obviously, another big game for your Wildcats football team. The Troy Trojans, defending state champs, coming to town. What do you expect in crowd-wise? And it seems like a lot of excitement around Athens football for maybe the first time in several years.
Yeah, I think you're right, Pat. Troy, returning state champ. We went on and did the radio with you. I was lucky enough to do the radio with you last year and watch that run. It was pretty amazing. Troy's Troy. I think our coaching staff is prepared for them. They've hit the weight room a lot this summer. Really did the 7-on-7s. Really grinded, and these guys are now juniors and seniors, like Coach Bradley said. It's their time, kind of. And it'll be. I think it's going to be the biggest crowd we've had in a long time at Athens. I think Troy brings a good crowd, and hopefully Athens fans can pack the stands.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Obviously, we had Troy Waverly a few weeks ago. That was an awesome crowd and incredible game. Hopefully, we're in store for another good one Friday night.
I guarantee you the Troy side's packed.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be an empty seat over there.
I'll be shocked if Athens is too. For whatever reason, just have not drawn like they should over even. Sometimes it's because they're not that good, but this is a good football team.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have many empty seats this week.
No, I don't think so. I think the community, winning takes care of a lot of things. I think we all know that. And Coach Bradley has a team, each week prepared, and it's shown. This will be our first test this week, and we have the youth night also. So hopefully get a lot of youth parents in there. We got the youth recognition for the Little Cats and the Athens Soccer Association, and then the junior high recognition night as well.
Sean Bradley took a lot of heat the last 2 years. But I got to give him a lot of credit. A lot of these kids played as freshmen and got a lot of playing time last year as sophomore. They took their lumps, but they had a vision in what they wanted to do this year and next. And, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that was the plan coming in. They knew they were young. Like you said, freshman, sophomore, they took their lickings for sure. And now it's time. I think these guys know that they saw the weight room makes a big difference. And those guys, there was 20 to 25 any given night. And it's showing off now, and these kids are, winning. The attitude changes too. The program gets hyped up a little bit, and I think they're going to bring it Friday night.
Let's not just talk football here, obviously. Although Zach Fisher is a kicker on the football team, doing a nice job. Also, the goalie on the undefeated soccer team, new coach Travis Renard. What's it like? Obviously, you've known Coach Lezak forever.
Yeah,
he retires after 20-some years. So much success over the years at Athens. Has a soccer academy and all that. But what's Coach Renard shown you early on, and obviously a good program and good team this year?
When I got in the spring, I think they've already hired the soccer coach to replace him, and it was Travis, and just got out of college. I go, wow, this is good. Young kid here. And, and I think Jake was a great mentor for Travis. Travis coached under him, helped out with the youth program. So I think Travis has got his own ideas also, but he'll do a lot of things Coach Lezak did to be successful for the program. But, yeah, he's off to a good start right now. Just beat Troy last night 4-0. And we'll see where it goes.
He won 4-0 and wasn't happy with it.
No, he was not. Can you tell?
Which is I thought was pretty interesting. I mean, that's for a young coach, especially that young.
Yep.
I'm impressed by where he set the bar for this program.
Yeah, I think like the standard. He's coming in fresh and he wants to set the standard. Like this is going to be Athens soccer, and I mean it's a 4-0 win in our eyes. But at the same time, maybe he saw something that didn't go over in practice, or some of the kids weren't listening.
And he's taking it head on because. Usually don't want to be the first guy to replace a legendary coach.
Right,
and Jake Lezak is that. He's doing it full force, and it seems like the kids have bought in. And, really good. And you have two good soccer coaches. Obviously, Rich Pitt's been there a while now.
Long time,
Lost tonight, I know, as we're recording this to Troy.
Yeah, tough one.
But, I mean, they're going to, take their lumps, but Coach Pitt is going to have them ready by the time playoffs come around.
Yeah, I think that's what Travis, too. I mean, he wasn't afraid to play anyone in Coach Pitt's, and he's never afraid to play anyone. I know both soccer teams are stacked with their schedule. The boys are playing Horseheads and Elmira, and there's another big school up there, Corning, I think it is. And then the girls are playing. They're going to Delaware Valley Saturday, and they're in an Oneonta tournament, Bloomsburg. So some tough schedule, which gets you prepared for the postseason, which Rich Pitts knows all about that.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears here a little bit. Christmas tournament. There's no more. So I understand that Athens is having their own holiday tournament this year.
Yes.
First of all, your thoughts on the Christmas tournament going away?
Growing up playing in it, being a fan when I was younger, then playing in it, it's nice for the community. It's always the Athens, Towanda, Waverly, and Sayre when I played. Then kind of Towanda got lost in the shuffle there a few years back. Then we brought it back here for Athens, Tioga, Sayre, and Waverly, which I thought was great. I mean, whether the teams are competitive, I don't know if that matters at the end of the day for the community. They want to say, a big crowd, and I think it's good for that. We are bringing our own tournament this year. Right now we have the girls and the boys. We're trying to do a junior high at the same time, but we're striking out with teams right now. But Elk Lake backed out. We have Athens, Candor. Who's the other one, Pat?
Blue Ridge?
Nope.
You have Owego in there?
Owego, yes, Owego. So hopefully we got to find one more since Elk Lake did drop out. And I think I got to talk with Sarah, but I think they're going to be the replacement for the boys' side.
Another thing too, while we're on the winter season here, jumping ahead a little bit, wrestling up to AAA. This is it, right? Just the 2 years and then back to AA?
It should be, Tim. So next month, the numbers get submitted for the next 2-year cycle and for classifications. So we'll get together, the principal and I and a couple others will count the number, get the number, and submit it to the PIAA. And then in December or January, I believe it comes out to what class we're. What we're looking at right now, it doesn't look everything's going to drop. So I don't think we're going to be 5A in basketball or AAA in wrestling. Yeah, I think that's coming back down to kind of reality,
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned Dave Gabriel earlier, principal at Athens. He started a year before you, as the principal. But kind of talk about it's always cool that I think Waverly's success, especially coaching wise, is bringing back alumni who played at Waverly and they're back in the community. It's nice to see Athens kind of starting that, especially Dave Gabriel, an Athens guy. You're an Athens guy. Jamie McNeil, assistant principal over there, and hopefully, are you looking to get more? Alums and also teachers into coaching at Athens.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Gabriel's been fantastic for me. He's kind of shown me the ropes. He's always helped me out, guiding me. It's funny because, I used to watch him play, looked up to that guy, and now we're working together side by side for, Athens sports, which is fantastic. I think that, coaches at Athens, teachers at Athens, if we can get a teacher to coach, I think that's great. They're in the school, and I think that's a big plus. But also, if we get coaches from outside of the district, it's just,
you want the best coach, no matter
best
what,
coach, at the end of the day, right? That's what we're looking for. But it's always cool to have a Athens alumni come back and coach.
Speaking of alumni, we're on the committee together. Athens bringing back the Hall of Fame for the first time in over 2 decades.
Finally.
How big is that as an AD and just an alum to bring that back first time? I think since 2002 or 3, I think.
Last year was junior year, Pat, is the last time, yeah. Go ahead, Tim.
I was going to say, off the top of my head, you got 2 slam dunks in Brianna Gambrell and Brian Courtney. So,
Well, and Jared Gambrell,
and Jared too.
There's a couple first ballots
There's 3 slam dunks.
But it's going to be interesting because we also, you had to be 5 years out, I think has been the rules all along. So we talked about Dave Gabriel. There's some guys in the 90s,
late 90s
that never got a chance to get in. So it's going to be I know we're holding it to, I think, an 8-person class maybe or so, and that includes coaches and contributors.
Contributors,
so
right.
It's going to take us a while to get everybody
we'll find them. We'll find them.
Back up in there.
But like you said, we are looking for nominees. I think that online at the Athens website, there's a nominee form to fill out. Any athlete, coaches, or contributors get on there and fill it out. But Jake Lezak really kind of brought this back to our attention. He's a good one to have, and our committee will find all the athletes that deserve to be in there.
And we'll have a banquet this coming May or in the spring in 2026 will be the first class since the early 2000s there. We'll have you hang out here a little bit. Let's go back into some of the NTL football. We talked to Athens, Troy earlier. Let's talk about Sarah real quick. Tim, obviously, tough start to the year. The schedule makers did him no favors making him play Troy week 1. I mean, they lost some kids to injury right away. But 58-0 loss to Montgomery. We've seen the Sarah program fight through these tough seasons before. It's got to be difficult, though, obviously.
Yeah, and I said I think when we spoke before the week 1 that they should have just forfeited the game to Troy. Because I think if they had been fully healthy going into the week 2 there, actually, week 0 now week 1, it would have been I think they could have been competitive for a lot of these games in the NTL, but losing your best player in Carter Green for the season after the first series or first possession, they've had some other injuries since. It's just rough, and I just hope they can hold everything together throughout the course of the entire season.
Yeah, they got some good athletes on that team. It's just when you're playing 18 kids, and a lot of them are new to football and are young, and so it's just tough. Hopefully they can find a way to get a win here before the end of the season, stay healthy the rest of the way. New York was kind of off last week for most of our.
It was week 0 for New York, and there aren't many Section 4 teams that play week 0, at least in our area. So looking at this week though, New York kind of kicks into high gear up in our
our buddy Brian Fee's area. Corning hosting Liverpool. Elmira, who did play last week, lost to Russia Henrietta 52-7. They play Cicero North Syracuse. Not an easy one there. Horseheads will host Baldwinsville. Notre Dame hosting Waterville, I believe.
Yeah, 8-man.
8-man. Edison hosting Morrisville Eaton.
Well, actually, Notre Dame, is 8-man this year, and it's the first year they're back after several years of being out of it. So,
and then Waverly at Windsor. So we saw Windsor beat Tioga 9-7 week 0-0. And then Tioga at Deposit Hancock on Saturday. What do you think? Obviously, Tioga looking to bounce back, had a week off.
Yeah, Deposit's got a stud running back. Last year, he was there last year too, but Tioga's line just simply dominated that game last year. They're not the same up front. They're young in spots, so this will be an interesting test for them. It's a game where Deposit Hancock, if they establish any kind of ground game, it could be interesting for Tioga.
Waverly at Windsor. I think Waverly was probably a pretty heavy favorite there.
Yeah, I think the fact that Tioga held Windsor to 9 points bodes well, because I think Waverly's just that much better defensively.
And then NTL this week, obviously the big one is Athens taking on Troy over at Alumni Stadium. We'll have the call on Choice 102, 6:45, the pregame show, 7 o'clock kickoff. Towanda at Wellsboro, South Williamsport at Milton, Sayres at CV, so another long trip for the Redskins, Muncie at Northwest, and Montgomery at Wyalusing. Montgomery-Wyalusing, interesting game. Obviously, Montgomery beat up on Sayre. Wyalusing has shown flashes of being a pretty decent team when they can put it all together.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you can stop Wyalusing's running game, you can stop them, and because they don't throw the ball much, if at all. So I think Montgomery's better than last year. I think they were 7-4, and they've shown this year that they're pretty solid. They got some kids back. The running back is back, and I think Wyalusing's going to have to pound the football to win that game.
Speaking of Wyalusing, I'll probably get myself in trouble here. Wyalusing School Board voting to approve boys soccer. They've had boys soccer over at Wyalusing 2 years in their history, 05 and 06, and then it went away real quick with low numbers, I believe, back in the day. That
was about the time Ray Rafin resigned, I believe.
From football.
Yeah, and then,
And it's just tough for me to, it's great for the kids. Kids, obviously, I know I've seen some parents on Facebook celebrating this, and it's great for the kids that want to play soccer in Wyalusing to have that opportunity to play soccer in Wyalusing. My question is, and Jack Young and I talked about this on the Athens Canton football broadcast when it was a blowout and we were bored. We talked about co-ops. Did Wyalusing reach out? You have Northeast right there and Towanda right there, 2 soccer programs that could easily probably accept the 5 or 6, 7, however many kids Wyalusing has had most years that want to play soccer. And will they have enough numbers to keep this program going for more than? I'm sure there's a group right now that wants to play, and there's parents that want their kids to be able to play at Wyalusing, but that was what happened 20 years ago, and it didn't last long. Hopefully it does this time, but it just seems like a co-op would make much more sense to give the kids still the opportunity to play.
Yeah, and Northeast Bradford's not exactly putting up huge numbers on their soccer teams either. So,
and Towanda has struggled in soccer a lot of years, so they could use the help too, I think. And I'm sure, we've seen in Athens and Sayre co-op in soccer, Troy and Canton, so rivals can coexist. And so I don't know, it just seems it's great for the kids to have the opportunity to play soccer, but there's other ways to go about it that could probably sustain it for more than the 2 years that happened in 05 and 06, and we'll see what happens this time. Good luck to them. Hopefully they have a plan, and I know they're playing co-ed junior high soccer right now with some decent numbers, so we'll see. But yeah, I saw that pop up this week, and I was surprised. Wyalusing graduated 89 kids last year. To have four boys sports in the fall for a school the size of Wyalusing is, other schools do it.
Just because it got approved doesn't mean they'll have a team either.
Yeah.
Seriously, you can't play with 10 or 11 kids.
And we've seen Tioga has struggled for years too with boys soccer, right?
And girls
soccer.
Because they have, you want to talk about a school that graduates 55 to 60 kids. The girls in the fall, they have volleyball, who never struggles for numbers.
Field hockey.
Then they have soccer, field hockey, and cross country.
Yeah.
So, for a Class D school, basically, that's rough.
Yeah. So, Jack Young talked about it on the radio last week with me, and he'd love to see more co-ops, and we've seen them work here in the Valley with Athens and Sayre soccer. Troy and Canton's been doing it a long time. And, yeah, it'd be nice to see. And we got some football teams in the NTL and beyond that maybe it would benefit from that too, I think. We won't go too far into that now. I don't want to get too much trouble here.
Think about it. If Northeast Bradford had been co-oping in football for those kids that ended up at Tioga, playing football, could have been at Towanda or Wyalusing.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what Wyalusing does with the soccer program as we're away from football now. Cody, we didn't talk about a couple more of your programs. Cody White, Athens Athletic Director, is still here with us. Talk about the volleyball program. Coach Heather Darrow doing a nice job.
Yeah, I mean, they put a lot of time in. They were in the summer, a lot of open gyms. We only have one senior on the squad, and they're fun to watch. I've been to a few volleyball games at home and had some tough battles with North Penn Liberty and Towanda last night. We get to that 5th set and just can't pull through yet, but we're going in the right direction. And again, we're playing some bigger schools in volleyball this year as well. We got Abington Heights coming. We play Sealings Grove, so it's a nice schedule for them too. But I look forward to see where they get up at the end of the year.
And I'm telling you what, Valley rivalry renewed this year. Sarah's won 2 in a row, and that's going to be a good match there in Athens.
Yeah,
it's going to be a really good match
it's nice
this year.
to see. Speaking of that, Tim, I saw at Williamson that Athens, I think, went 5-3, and Sarah was 4-4.
Yep.
So yeah, that's going to be, I think, a good crowd for that one too. Yeah. A little spark back for the girls.
And I'll tell you what, volleyball, when it's played well, is an absolutely
exciting,
thrilling sport to watch.
Absolutely. Cross country, you guys have had a successful program for a long time now. Good coaches there too.
Yeah, Coach Bronson and Coach Riley do a great job. They've been doing it a long time. Alyssa Vo and Ava Hughes lead the girls, and the boys team is led by Graham Wank, who's injured right now actually. But I talked to him the other day, and he's looking for 2 to 3 more weeks. Get the boot off.
Is this his 10th year run? It seems like
he's only a junior.
I know.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
You hear from junior high on the way up. He's been right there, and hopefully he's going to get healthy.
He's got
soon.
A red shirt coming. Same way.
And Jacob Shores had a nice meet yesterday against who'd they have yesterday? Wellsboro. So that was good to see. He had a nice run there. So what I'm looking forward to cross country, which I haven't been to many cross country events, I'll be honest, but I've gone to 2 home matches. The WeGo night run, they say, is something to see. I think that's September
Friday.
19th, Friday. Yeah,
Friday, yep.
A Friday night. So if you're nothing on the schedule on Friday night, boys, you might want to check it out. I know I am.
The other one too is golf.
Golf, yeah.
Now they had a few titles there in a row. They're a little younger this year, but Ty Owen has come on strong.
Him and Eli Hicks. Ethan graduated.
And Greninger.
Yeah,
Lucas Greninger's had a couple really strong matches. As a matter of fact, he shot a 39 yesterday. Eli, who went to states, was 3rd on his own team yesterday.
Yeah, that's good to have.
Which is not a bad thing because he shot a 40. It's not like he shot a 60 or something.
That's a good little group they got going. I know, like I said, we've won 4 NTLs in a row.
Brooke Lyon, 45 and didn't even make the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll be curious. They play against Towanda on Thursday.
Yep, tomorrow.
How good is Towanda right now? Athens has been the team to beat the last few years.
Very good.
But they have 3 or 4 guys going under 80.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
I think the first 3 when they went the 18 holes, because they're doing. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm not a big fan. The 9-hole playing everybody all over the place instead of. I like the fact I like putting them all in one place, same course, same day, same conditions.
I agree.
And they should have just stuck with that. And Towanda, the first 3 matches had the low medal honor in each of the 3 matches. And it was a different kid all 3 times.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yes, it is.
And like you said about the 9 holes, I know our coach, players, even our kids, they want to play 18 because in districts you play 18, at states you play 18, and they noticed fatigue when they got to districts with kids that just played 9 holes.
Right.
So I'm hoping for next year we can get the schedule figured out. We only had 1 home match at Shepherd Hills. We only had 1. These other schools had 3 and 4.
Right.
That makes it tough. We went to Kawaneski twice. We go to Mansfield twice.
I've been playing for years about New York State doing this, the 9 holes throughout the year and then 18 for postseason. And PA side, I think the one thing I've heard is it's about kids missing school because they leave at 10 a.m. to go to some of these matches. It's 6 times in the fall. I mean, and not even because they play 3 weeks in the summer.
You play 2 or 3 of them before school starts.
So really, it's 3, maybe 4 times at the most. The kids leaving at 10 a.m. to go play golf, and there's only how many kids? 6, 8 kids.
7 or 8 of them go. Yeah.
I mean, so it's not like I don't think that's
tough.
A real excuse. I mean, it just seems like it shouldn't. If it's not broke, don't fix it, and it wasn't broken.
Yeah, it seems like it's worked for a long time, Tim. I don't know how long they've been doing 18, but ever since
I can remember.
I played there in the early 2000s. It was 18.
And hoping they go back to it. Like you said, they play 3 before school starts, and that way everyone gets a home match, and they're all playing against each other. because there's some teams at the top, that we don't get to play
Right.
in a dual or tri-meet.
Like
or
I said,
match.
same course, same day, same conditions.
Yep.
So, everybody's on an equal foot.
I agree. And I think a lot of the coaches prefer the 18, and I know the kids do.
Yeah.
Because especially, in the front nine, you kind of do a sloppy or whatever, you're done.
Yeah.
You don't have a chance to get it back or, I guess it could go the other way too. If you have a great front nine, you could blow up on the back nine. So
My question to you is, you've got Athens have built some really nice programs there the last few years. And right across the border, you got a similar size school in Waverly. They should be playing every year in just about every sport.
couldn't agree more, Tim. I think that needs to happen. I think we need to get together, whether it's the principals, the ADs, the superintendents. I think it just makes for a good event for the community. Football, basketball, play in every sport. I don't see why we can't do that.
And I get it. It took me years, and I finally got the baseball and softball tournaments where it was Waverly, Sarah, Athens, and Tioga.
Yep.
And that blew up. When Waverly moved to the stack, they got the big brother syndrome and couldn't play the smaller schools because it kills their points and stuff like that. And I get it.
I get it too.
So, maybe what we could do is put together some type of New York PA thing where, we get a large school with Waverly and Athens, and then another PA school from down like Williamsport, South Williamsport or Montoursville, and we get Corning or somebody, and the New York two teams play the two Pennsylvania teams.
I like that because I think Waverly's been playing South Williamsport and Montoursville lately, right?
Yep.
And
so
baseball,
I think that would be great. Four good-sized schools playing.
You can play a doubleheader.
Yep.
Play a doubleheader at Waverly one year and at Athens the next year, and vice versa.
I think that would be fantastic. I know that our coach would be up for that.
Yeah, it's 100%. Always fun to see the rivals.
You got to
play
renew
each
them,
other,
right?
and the schedules, especially football wise, are terrible. I mean, the mixing of them is tough because New York starts way later in PA, but you got to make it happen somehow.
I know it was 2012 was the last. I'm not counting the
Unico Bowl.
The year it was 1-9 against 0-9 or 1-8 against 0 and whatever they were both day. I'm not counting that game, but 2012 they played early. I think week 1. Waverly had just come off of their first state semifinal run in 2011, and Athens was loaded. And I think that was the game the time ran out before Athens could get their field goal team on the field, and Waverly beat them by 2 or something like that. You know what I mean?
And that's what we need.
So and
that's
it was
what we need.
and that
rivalry
place was,
sparks it.
that was probably the most people I've seen at an Athens football game in that new stadium.
Right.
I wasn't there for the 2004 district run.
Yep.
But that was I haven't seen any more than that game in 2012.
Yeah, that 04 district run that was packed. Hopefully we're going to see this Friday night. Big one, Athens taking on Troy with the NTL Large School. It's early in the year, I know, but the NTL Large School title's on the line because I don't see any other teams competing with Athens or Troy in the NTL.
I mean, on the wild card, too, is whether or not Brandon Gilliland plays.
Yeah.
Didn't play last week for South Williamsport. I'm not sure. Heard some things I'm not going to get into, but...
hopefully he's all right. And
if he doesn't play,
we want to see him. At least
we want to see him 100%.
As fans, we want to see him full force, both teams.
And I know Athens does too. They definitely want to. They definitely want him full strength because he is fun to watch. I know. I'm the Athens AD and all, but I watched him last year in that state game. He's fun to watch, and I think they want that challenge.
If he doesn't play, that's a big weapon off their offense.
Yeah.
And they're a ball control offense, and he's a 200 and some pound back that can run. Mm-hmm. So it'll make things.
Yeah, hopefully he's on the field. We get to see both teams at full force, and I think there's going to be some good matchups there, including a guy like Brendan Cook on the other side trying to control Gilliland if he's running the ball. Plus Gilliland on defense is dangerous.
There's going to be some collisions in this game, I think, Pat.
I touched on it earlier. Athens' offensive and defensive fronts have played pretty well this year, but this is by far the biggest test they'll have until districts.
Yeah,
this front line for Troy. So we'll see how good Athens is up front.
Yep, I agree.
That will be happening this Friday night, 7 o'clock start over at Alumni Stadium. We don't know fireworks. No fireworks. When fireworks were exploding like crazy last week, hopefully we'll see them back this week. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, we have a few. I think we have a few left. Hopefully we get to blow a bunch of them up. I can't say yes or no at this point. I'm not 100% sure if we are or not yet, but we're hoping to.
I know I'm getting a little old, so next time I need a warning on those fireworks too.
It was really cool. Before we sign off here, we want to thank our friends at UHS Sports Medicine.
UHS Sports Medicine is your team's partner, keeping you healthy both on and off the field. Learn more at nyuhs.org.
All right, we want to thank Athens Athletic Director Cody White for stopping by Two Guys Talking Sports. Should be a good one this Friday night. Athens taking on the Troy Trojans in a football showdown.
And I just want to give you guys, Pat and Tim, a huge shout out for the local coverage you give these athletes, and not just around here. I mean, you guys travel. You guys travel to Albany, to Harrisburg, to you name it. You guys are there, and we really appreciate you guys doing all this.
Wherever I was for the state playoff game on softball, I got a bill about a month later for $47 for the freaking turnpike.
On that turnpike to Northwestern Lehigh.
I just paid it last week, too, if that tells you anything.
Send the bill to Athens. They'll take care of it down there.
Yeah, we had a fun trip on that one, Pat.
It was a tough game for the Lady Wildcats, but what a run it was. But yeah, that is Athens Athletic Director Cody White. Thanks for stopping by Two Guys Talking Sports. For Tim Burney, I'm Pat McDonald signing off. We'll talk to you next week.